Ditch Diggers, episode 67, for Monday, September 24th, 2018. It's the live WorldCon episode you've been waiting for.
Ditch Diggers appear and ain't no wannabes here with some not so nice advice for your writing career. To be clear, no punches will be pulled, but the punch may be spiked how they like before they get on the mic. To my left we got the mighty Mer Lafferty, and if I piss her off, believe me, she'll come after me. And her co-host Matt Evan Wallace on the right. Yes, she may be half as hype as she can take him in a fight. So settle in, folks, buckle in and boot up. Time to meddle in a way to make you writer shut up. It's hard work, but the perk is that it's fun and exciting. Facebook will still be there when you're done writing. Ditch Diggers! Ditch Diggers!
All right, we're recording. Where are we coming from, Matt?
Live from Jeff Goldblum's haberdashery.
Nice. Jeff Goldblum's San Jose haberdashery.
Well, it's the San Jose chapter of Jeff Goldblum's haberdashery. He has one in every major city because, you never know where you're going to be and you got to look good.
Exactly. We are the Ditch Diggers. That is Matt. I am Mur. We are here. We are nominated for the Hugo. How fucking cool is that?
Second year in a row.
That's right. And we have, I realized I don't know how to say your last name. We have our guest, Kellan. Szpara. And Margaret Dunlap. Mm-hmm. And we are doing Choose Your Own Career.
It's going to be like, thank you. No, seriously. Hold it down till the end. I thought we'd work it up to a little bit more than that. That's okay. We'll go from there. So
we Stone Cold Pros, Hugo nominees, people.
So you want to jump right in there and do it?
No, go for it.
Let's jump right in there and do it. Let's jump right in there and do it. Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary folks, on this stage this afternoon, you are going to witness entire writing careers from inception to the end of the road play out on this very stage, because we are going to do the Ditch Diggers Choose Your Own Publishing Career.
Did anyone ever doubt that Matt has a history in wrestling?
That's only half speed. You want me to go wrestling promo? No, but we are. It's a little thing that Mer and I came up with. We wanted to do it, save it for Ditch Diggers Live. Our fourth annual Ditch Diggers Live, by the way. Went international last year, so it's been going pretty good.
And we had our pinch hitter, Matt Wallace, Alistair Stewart.
My personal stunt double, Alistair Stewart, owner of Escape Artists, publishers of fine fiction podcasts. Thank you for that, Al, belatedly, a year later. Yes.
You guys have spoken since
We have a few times, but we had a lot to catch up on.
That's true.
Movies to talk about. Anyway, so here's what's going to happen. Margaret and Kellan very graciously have agreed to participate. Well, I don't think they actually knew what they were participating in. We just asked them to come sit up on the stage and we'd have them. But here's what's going to happen. It's basically going to be a live choose your own adventure, but for a publishing career. Okay? You two will be playing the roles of aspiring authors. Try to get into the headspace if you can.
Who activates?
We didn't really give background on our guests.
No, we didn't. Kellan is a Nebula and Hugo nominated author.
Yes.
So I got that right? Okay, because I didn't want to. Have I left anything out?
I have a book coming out in 2020.
Woo,
yeah,
awesome.
Docile from Tor.com.
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Give it up.
And Margaret is my compatriot on Book Burners, but also many, many other things. Also an Emmy winner.
Whoa.
That's
Queer
right.
strain, Margaret.
That's right. So, what are you working on?
Most recently, I was a writer for Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, coming to Netflix in 2019.
How cool is that? Come on. Dark Crystal.
That's right.
Skeksis. I'm all about it.
Puppets and trauma for a whole new generation.
I like that.
Is that
I want
the
that
tagline?
t-shirt. Yeah.
It should be.
Puppets and trauma for a new
It is
generation.
now. Sorry, Henson.
Screw the Choose Your Own Adventure. I just want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about puppets and trauma. So
If I say any more, a Muppet comes and smothers me in my sleep.
no, but for real. So Margaret and Kellan obviously overqualified to play this game, but that's what we wanted. We wanted people who have a sense of the publishing industry, who can answer questions and respond to imaginary scenarios intelligently, presumably.
No pressure, but I'm feeling it now.
But here, for the purposes of
You
today,
already asked us.
for the purposes of today, Each of you will start out as complete novice authors. Okay. You have an idea, you're pecking at novels maybe, but you don't know how to approach getting into publishing. Okay? You're starting from right there. Murr and I are going to present you with some choices you can make to move your careers forward. Okay? Once you make those choices, we will introduce the ultimate novelty, you folks, the audience. Because an author's success invariably comes down to the audience.
Oh, no.
So you will be playing the part of the SFF, or wherever we go with this, the fiction-consuming audience. After they make their choices, we will present you with a number of possibilities that those choices can lead to, and we will ask you to vote by applause for which choice you think is more likely. Does that make some kind of sense? You are, in essence, determining their career paths.
Okay, and since my agent's in the audience, if you could just clap really loud support me.
But here's the thing.
Are we working together? Like, are we a writing team? Do we get to, like, confer about what we think?
Would you like to be a writing team? We can do this individually, or it can be a team thing.
We are supportive of one another.
We are.
Yes.
So you're going to be a writing team. I like that. And you will get to confer on your choices and make them collectively, which will simplify things immensely. Thank you for thinking of that.
I just want to say that Margaret, with the TV background, helped create the camaraderie room, writer's room of book burners, because all the rest of us were novelists who worked all by ourselves. And then we were all brought together to do this big group project. And Margaret's like, I got to tell you guys how to do this. I will set it all up. And so it is due to you why we have such a good chemistry.
Applause-worthy.
Yes.
Index cards and eye contact.
Index cards on a a patience go a long way.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So those are the ground rules.
Yeah.
Is everybody more or less clear on that? It'll come out in the plane. You know, if you're a tabletop gamer, the only way to really know is to get in there and do a few rounds.
That's right.
So you ready to get into this, Mark?
I'm ready.
All right. So Kellan, Margaret, as a writing team, you want to be in them thar books.
Yeah.
That's your goal. I guess you need to start out by choosing a genre. Should we choose a genre for them?
No. I want to ask them their genre, because they both there's a genre they enjoy, and there's a genre that they know sells really well, and then there's the genre that their mother loves and really does not approve of any other kind of book.
Because apparently you're both adopted or siblings, and you have the same mother.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, well, if we do that, we know we'll sell at least one book.
There is the comfort
To
of
her
that.
mother, and possibly to her reading group.
Yeah, that's like 13 books
It's like
total.
13, but if
Or if you're my mother, every book at your signing.
Okay.
Right.
My mother gets invited to my book signings before I do.
It is my preference to write in the genre that we love.
That's
Because
true.
if we don't love it, we'll stop writing and our careers will be over.
No, we should do what we love, because we are artists and not soulless sellouts who are doing this for the money.
True.
Oh, Godly throne.
I mean, we want money.
Wait.
I want money.
Yeah. I mean, clearly we want money, but we want money because we're excellent and artists.
And doing things we love.
Yes. Please remember, I work in Hollywood.
So which genre is this? The one
Oh,
you
you're
love?
asking for a specific
Yeah, we need to know what we're working with
I
here.
mean, any deeper than science fiction and fantasy? Yeah. Or do you need to know?
If you want to specify, you can.
I mean, or do you want, like, robot unicorns?
I always
I mean,
want
we definitely want
unicorn.
robot. It's up to you.
Keep in mind that there will be sex in anything I write, so if the robots and the unicorns are doing it, what's this rated?
What's the rating?
What's the rating on the podcast?
Oh, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, good. I listen, but I'm just asking.
Robots and
I was
unicorns
thinking, like,
fucking. You can
cyborg
say it. It's fine.
unicorns, but...
Okay.
All right.
That's going to be the subtitle for the show. This Year's Live 2018, Robots and Unicorns fucking.
Stone Cold Prose.
Stone Cold Pros.
We are at a minimum rating science fiction and fantasy.
At a minimum, that may or may not include robots and unicorns. We won't specify.
Right.
beyond.
Yeah.
We don't want to pigeonhole ourselves.
You've already
too
put
soon.
yourselves at enough of a detriment by choosing science fiction and fantasy.
No.
So you've chosen the passion. The question now is, how are you going to eat while you pursue this passion?
Because you're not choosing the one that sells.
You're not choosing the one that
Right.
sells.
Decided not to be terrible sellouts that, make money and afford food.
You've chosen not to be overnight successes.
Do you have a day job?
I think I better. Do you have a day job?
I have a day job, and I'm a corporate cog, so I'm making enough money to pay my bills.
Okay, that's excellent. I think I have a day job, but I'm a temp.
Okay, that's cool.
But often that leaves me time for writing. So
Fair. I'm
that's
usually
handy.
exhausted constantly.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So that's a good baseline. So that leads us to, with that going on, how long does it take them to complete their novel? They've chosen passion, but they've also chosen day jobs. Although Margaret is a temp, so she has a little more time. Yeah. So let's give two scenarios here: a year or more for the novel, or less than 6 months. Is that fair? So for a year or more for them to complete their first novel while they do these crappy jobs, applaud.
Definitely taking a year or more.
If they get it knocked off in less than 6 months, applaud. So that's the game we're going to play.
I mean, we don't want a shitty novel, so thank you for applauding for the correct choice.
Good luck with that.
There are two of us. We have to confer on everything. It does not make it half the work, in my experience.
No, that is good. That's exactly what I was going to say. Because you've chosen to take the time with it and balance work and life and really make it good, you end up with a very good novel. I think that's fair. Is that fair to say?
High five!
I think that's fair, yeah.
Now, here's the question. Moving forward, do you want to just start submitting to agents and publishers and try to get it out there? Or are you concerned with building a platform for yourselves online, social media, website, some kind of presence where you can promote yourselves?
Can we not do both at the same time?
Yeah.
You can do both at the same time, but not a lot of people realize that. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
I was about to say, have we already shown it to people who are not our mother, who wouldn't approve of it
right,
anyway?
that was the
because
question
we're
I
not
was
writing
gonna
it?
ask.
I'm sorry, I jumped ahead.
Revised and
Yes,
completed
let's,
novel, or just like the baby that we birthed?
So you've got a friends who also like to write. One of them has never shown you anything she's written because she's afraid you're going to steal it. Someone else always tries to have their stuff critiqued, every single writer's group. There's a third person that Matt's going to come up with right now.
The author whose main character is them, and they're clearly exercising their personal fantasies in their fiction.
I mean, that's what I'm doing most of the time.
But to an uncomfortably obvious degree.
Like,
You can't see my face if you're listening to this, but I'm making one.
I was about to say, there's drinking at our writing group, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
and then there's you guys. So tell us about your writing group. Do you like it?
Wait, isn't that our writing group? You
That
just
is.
described it?
Yeah, but how are you enjoying
guys?
it?
How do you guys fit in with it?
Oh.
I think we bring snacks.
Yeah, definitely
All right,
snacks.
guys, the key to a career, snacks. Thank you, Margaret.
Bribe the people who are going to be reading your work. Bribe them heartily.
We are careful not to ask anyone to do more than we think they can do, because we have noticed that some people don't always get our critiques back on time, and we don't want to promise more than we can give.
Because we have day jobs, so
we have
to
jobs.
balance that.
So we're like responsible, and if they suck, we amenably are still friends, but maybe just work with each other.
Yeah, we sometimes soft pedal our critiques, but then we get together and we say what we really think after.
Like
Take what you need,
Right.
and then go to the bar and talk about it.
What about
we totally gossip.
What about the people who are not into your queer robot character?
They are not our audience, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually
we're following our passion.
Yeah.
Good answer.
That's not for everyone.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we need this to lead to some kind of fork in the road, so I'll just throw one out.
Go for it.
Based on their description of this writing group, do you feel that it's helping them or hindering them? For helping them, applaud.
You put your hands down.
For hindering their progress, applaud. But there's something to be said for camaraderie and personal fulfillment. I say completely violating my own personal code of ethics.
I'm so glad we're a writing team.
Voice and then
Inside voice?
Inside voice with the how you're violating your personal ethics and all that.
Okay, I'll keep that to myself.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
I'll play big, but keep that all inside.
There you go.
There is definitely a learning curve to learning how critique groups work if you've never been in one before, and sometimes you have to part ways amenably, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think as we're starting out, it's really good to have a group of people who are trying to write books, whether they ever actually show us the book that they're writing or not. But just that kind of moral support, I think, can be really useful when you're starting.
So a different kind of help and progress for you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and there's drinking.
And there's drinking and snacks. What kind of snacks, by the way? Ooh. That's just for me.
You know, I'm really into like getting back into Cool Ranch Doritos lately.
Really?
I love that you're getting back into Cool Ranch.
Just put
Like
them
you
aside.
rediscovered vinyl. That's
Well,
awesome.
I went to like healthy snacks for a while, and then I was like, man, you know what's great when I was in grade school? Cool Ranch Doritos.
And suddenly Barnes & Noble is selling a whole bunch of Cool Ranch Doritos right beside the vinyl. So when you guys go to your meetings...
Bugles.
Oh,
And bugles.
Okay.
I like it. So moving on to
Now move on to the
now moving on
yeah.
to platforms while simultaneously. So you want to simultaneously build your online presence while getting the book out there.
Yes, I think we've been tweeting this whole time.
Yeah.
You've been tweeting the whole time. Like as you've been working on it, you've been doing it since your inception of this. We're going to do this writing thing.
Yeah, we
You're
like
like,
to,
good writing day to day. Awesome.
Yeah, we like
That's good, I
to
like
make
that.
friends with other people who are also working on science fiction and fantasy books, so we can like make friends in our community, not necessarily just with the people who live near us.
Yeah.
Have y'all been subtweeting about the people in your writing group that are afraid of plagiarism and don't like gay robots? And
Are they on Twitter as well? Then no.
okay,
So you've chosen the moral high ground in terms of tweeting.
Well, in terms of tweeting.
Yeah.
In
well,
terms of tweeting,
We're
I was
talking to
very
each other.
specific
talk to
about
each
that.
other. That's why we don't need to put it online.
It's okay to have an outlet where you express your true feelings privately.
Yes.
you know, ever since we moved away from robots and unicorns fucking, it's gotten like really like you guys are making good choices.
Really are.
Wait,
Are you implying that robots and unicorns fucking was not a good choice?
Well, that's okay
You're
because
right.
this is publishing. Eventually, there's going to be arbitrary failure that you have no control over.
that's
Right.
legit.
We'll get there.
We're ready.
So I like that. So despite the fact you didn't have anything ready, you didn't have anything to send out, you decided right away we're going to get online, we're going to start building our platform, we're going to network, we're going to let people follow the journey of this thing that we're working on
Yeah.
so they become invested in it even before the thing is done.
Yeah, we have
and you've
support.
built an audience that way. I think that's pretty good. So you've done all that. You've gotten to the point where you've got the novel ready to go out, and we're going to. Can we get into the submission process now, Marty?
I do have something about the submission
Yeah.
process that I want to.
Go for it.
So you guys are hot on Twitter. You've got like 500 followers.
Yeah.
Triple digits.
Yeah. And
Takes a long time.
And so you guys talk about your book because you just decided to go that way, even though you haven't told me that. I have decided that for you.
Cool.
And what happens is there is an agent who contacts you and says, you know what, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And you look and you see that the agent has not really a lot of totally legit agent, totally legit, and maybe some high profile people, doesn't seem to rep anything with robots or unicorns or sex.
But science fiction and fantasy? Question mark.
Maybe they're interested in repping science fiction and fantasy, question mark. And you guys haven't even started your hunt yet, and suddenly there's a real agent going, hey, you guys sound interesting. You got 500 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we are in a place that we are open to talking to anyone.
Yeah.
And we're not making any deals yet. So if they are interested, we are potentially interested in querying them, but not necessarily making any decisions about after that yet. But we're researching them.
I think we totally freak out and we spend way
yeah.
too long crafting
You get drunk,
our
you eat
query
a bunch of Cool
letter,
Ranch Doritos to celebrate.
and we have a fight about whether the comma should go there or there, and then we eventually do send them a letter.
Yeah.
But I think those are very important steps.
We don't make the mistake that I made in real life. We go and we read how to write a query letter and address it to
Because
their
I have time at my
name.
temp job. I spend a lot of time reading how to write a query letter
Yeah.
posts.
Well,
So we
you get
do.
that entry, yeah.
We send them a solicited query letter. That is not too terrible. It's our first one.
It's your first query letter.
It's our
Bound
first
to
query
make some
letter.
kind of mistake.
In all honesty, it's our first query letter. It's probably pretty shaky.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we have the audience here. That's why we have the Greek choir. So, based on the journey of the team so far and their personalities, how good is their first query letter? Is it like, oh, I can't believe how professional these people already are when the agent reads it? Applaud for that. It's very impressive.
Aw, thanks.
Thanks.
My agent is not clapping, by the way.
Or is the query letter so bad that the agent never contacts them again? Oh, wow.
Man.
I'm going to call it
He's a little too much into that idea.
I'm going to call that a tie.
That happened to me in real life. That was
Yeah.
the first query I sent out. I did not follow the guidelines, but it was nice and professional. I just never heard from them again, and lesson learned.
And that's okay. And here
I feel
you are.
like there's also the middle road because like we have no idea why they would never get
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
us again. So it could have been a crap query letter.
It's true.
Could have been that it was like routed, like it's actually this mail drop in Des Moines that is powering some kind of time travel thing by getting query letters. Like honestly, I don't know where half of
Because
those
a
letters
temporal
go.
mail drop would be in Des Moines if that was the thing. We can all agree on that.
We have anxiety over for a while.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you didn't incessantly badger the agent to find out why they didn't get back to you? That's not a thing that you consider doing?
No.
No, we like just met, but I think there's that look between us. Like, oh
Do
God,
not
that's
do
not
that.
what we do.
No,
That was a good choice. We don't even need to put that to the audience.
I just want to say that when the agent did not get back to you, I would just like to say that you just dodged a huge bullet that's on page 79.
Yeah. One of those
Speaking
really
from
bad
my
illustrations of you falling
experience-
into a pit, if you remember the book.
Speaking from my experience, you just lucked out big time that they hated your query letter. Let me just say that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, well done.
Inadvertently dodged a bullet through your noviceness.
You tripped and fell on your face, and the bullet just went.
Cool.
Yeah.
If they don't want to work with us, we don't want to work with them. That's
right.
fine.
Yeah.
Damn right. Okay, so they dodged that bullet. So
Yeah.
now they're at
That
the
we
point
feed
where
our little insecure
they're going to start
babies
putting
at the
it out
same
in the world,
time.
right?
Okay.
So are you starting with agents specifically? Are you doing publishers? Are you doing both? Or are you just focusing on getting an agent?
I think we've heard that you need an agent.
Yeah,
so.
and we're interested in traditional publishing.
Yeah, and we're
we
not
wanna make-
entirely sure what agents do, but we're pretty sure we need one.
we hope with one we will make more money than without one.
Yes, and because my day job's terrible.
Yeah.
I just want to say that with our agent sitting in the second row, Kellan's not going to say anything about how an agent is a bad idea. I'm just saying.
But I mean, I wouldn't have one if I believed it was a bad idea. So. Yeah.
So you're focusing on agents specifically. I like that. We'll go forward from there. So let's see. How long do you? We'll put it to the audience. How long of querying agents before they get a positive response? Murray, give me two time frames.
What constitutes a positive response?
A positive response is like just a personal reply to you.
Okay.
That acknowledges that you sent them something.
Awesome.
So how long? So give me 2 time frames.
Okay, we got 3 months and 6 months.
Okay, so for 6 months before they get a positive reply, round of applause. And for 3 months.
That was a tie.
That's kind of tough. We'll go with 6 months because I feel like that's conservative anyway.
Okay.
So emboldened by this personal response after 6 months,
I got your email.
you're like victory.
To a meal drop in Des Moines.
That is cocktails and Doritos all night. And then in the morning, you're so emboldened you redouble your efforts. You start querying more agents. You get even deeper into it. You're like, we can do this. I'm encouraged that we can do this.
We have a spreadsheet.
We totally have spreadsheets. I'm a temp. We have a spreadsheet.
Yeah, and I'm a corporate cog. You have Microsoft Excel.
Oh, we have like a shared Google sheet.
Oh
that
yeah,
we like.
I hate those, but we're using one.
Yeah. so we can sneakily look at it while we're at work and like send little notes to each other.
Yep.
Okay. Shared Google spreadsheet.
I like it. But then a curveball happens.
No.
Oh no.
You get a response from an agent, legitimate agent, as far as you know, and you can research, and they did not like what you sent them. They think you're way off. They actually thought it was offensive.
I was more concerned about our spreadsheet when you mentioned it. Oh no, Google knocks us down.
They think you've obviously got talent, but they think you're doing entirely the wrong thing. Are you discouraged by this?
It hurts and it sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
honestly, I think we are probably a little discouraged because it's
Yeah. But I mean, we still have queries out there.
Yeah.
So we're not stopping because we haven't made any money yet.
There you go. So you do not alter course. You stay the course.
Yeah, we know we were prepared for rejections.
Yeah.
Because we've received them presumably already at least once in our life.
I think we set a number of like, well, if we hear from X number of agents who all tell us that robots and unicorns and fucking is the wrong way to go,
then we'll consider
maybe
other
we need to
options.
consider that maybe they're not wrong.
Yeah.
So even though they have complimented you and said you have potential, you got a future, just not in this genre, it's not just a rejection. I mean, it's like
We also feel good about being told that we are good writers.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not going to change the course.
I feel like maybe there's the fork in the path that we've not explored is while we are querying all of this, are we working on another book or not?
No, you're working on spreadsheets.
We're working on spreadsheets, clearly.
We are probably at least I'm considering and have ideas and we're floating them, but do we actually have ourselves together enough to be working?
Are we like maybe this is an audience question? Did we dive in?
Yeah.
Are we writing the sequel or are we writing something new?
Oh my God.
No, don't let them
Huge
think we write the
question.
sequel. We're not writing a sequel.
We're not writing a
before we
sequel.
sell the first book.
So that's what we cut off before we get to that.
If you guys make that decision, you have to carry the career.
So when is the decision point? Whether
Is
you
it
start
the
on
TV
something
writer
new?
who's like, well, you
Yeah.
have to give your characters the option of making a terrible choice.
Yes, you have the option of making the terrible choice.
I guess the
So,
choice should be.
so are we writing another book, and is it also in the same? Is it related, or is
Yeah.
it maybe like just unicorns or just
Yeah, so like
robots?
something totally different, or maybe something that's like in the same world but doesn't rely on the last
Right,
book.
right.
So the options are you're doing that or you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are they working on the new semi-related thing while they're querying for the book that they've completed? Round of applause for that. Or are they just chilling and futzing around with their spreadsheets and the cool Doritos? Yeah, we're here, man. We'll go with you're working on the next book.
Okay, working on something else. Good for us. That's more
You've got
discipline than I
something
had in real life. Just anxiety for like 11 months.
Can I just stop and make it like a real show for just a second?
Yes, absolutely.
Why don't you guys tell us why it's a bad idea to work on the sequel right now?
Why don't you speak to this first? Because
If you don't sell the first book and you have a sequel written, then you definitely can't sell the sequel. You'd have to find a way to sell the first book somehow, so that I think that leads sometimes people to make choices that aren't necessarily their priorities. So
it becomes good money after bad.
yeah, I mean, you might say, oh, well, I really wanted to sell this because I've already written a sequel, so I'm going to, if you want to independently publish or you want to go small press, that is cool and I support you. But if that's not your goal, then you can get stuck somewhere and you might sign a contract for 3 books in the same world, and then your agent search is delayed, and if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah. I would guess that there's a possibility if you write the book and then you write the sequel and the first book ends up being a trunk novel, if it's not like a direct sequel, but it's sort of like it winds up that you've written the backstory was your first novel.
Yeah, like JY.
It's possible the second novel is actually the first novel, but
Yeah, if you're, like, we're not as good yet in this scenario as J.Y. Young is currently, but if you're doing something like they did, which is like multiple stories within the same universe that can be read independently, cool.
yeah.
Hugo and nebulated. Nebulated?
Nebulated.
Nebulated.
That's a new adjective. That's a thing.
It's
Spread that around.
It's just shortening Nebula nominated. I'm just saving time.
Hashtag.
Mur, you got nebulated this year,
I
didn't
did
you?
get nebulated.
Hugo-sized.
You decide.
Besides a nebulated author, J.Y. Young.
Phil K. Dix. No, that's bad.
Now we're moving on. So, thank you guys, because I get that question a lot. People asking about working on the second of a trilogy and they haven't sold the first one, so I just wanted to address that. Carry on, Matt.
Absolutely. So, that's what you've chosen to do. You're working on the new thing. It's got robots but no unicorns. It's got a different vibe, even though it's kind of semi-related.
Cool.
Yeah.
They're still fucking, but there are no unicorins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
fucking
that.
other things.
Cool.
Robots fucking other things.
Bolts and shit.
That'll be next year's subtitle. I got Mur. You can't see it on the podcast, but I got it. That's one. I'm aiming for 3 before we're done.
With the benefit of the video feed, it was forehead to the table.
So, a couple months later, you get another personal response from an agent. This is much more positive, but it's a different situation. The agent says, you're obviously very talented. I liked it. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, but do you have anything else?
Do we have anything else? We've been working on the next thing.
We've been working on the next thing.
Yes.
We have robots.
Yeah.
But it's not completed yet. So are you going to tell the agent we're in the middle of this? Are you going to wait until you have the book completed to give it to them? What's your move based off this
Are you going to lie and send them the chapters you...
We are definitely, we're shaking our fingers at Mer. I'm really happy that you're my partner in this, because there's some people that I'd be like, oh God, wrong decision. I think that we respond definitely to say, we are working on something else right now.
We have to respond because we don't want them to think that we're a mail drop into vehicle.
Correct.
Into the
Or Des
temporal
Moines,
place in Des
or
Moines.
wherever
Yes.
our mail drop was.
We let them know that when it is complete, we would love to send it to them if they would like.
Yeah, and maybe we send them a little summary so they can see if maybe it's something that would be more to their taste.
An extremely short summary.
An extremely short summary.
Extremely short summary.
Like, yes, we have
The
a
one
book that is about
paragraph.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Can I just ask how many people are trying to figure out their next plot involving the mail drop in Des Moines?
Oh, it's
Yeah, okay.
I want to.
I am.
Awesome.
It's a race.
We get royalties for that.
Absolutely. And we're split into 4 ways.
Wait a
We
second.
facilitated this thing.
Fine.
Put the mic in front of you, man.
So you chose to be
Ideas
honest
are
with the
cheap.
agent and also send them a brief summary of the thing that's in progress.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a decision point we should put to the audience. Based on what they've done, does the agent reply to them and say, you know what, this sounds so good, I want to see what you got right now? Or does the agent not say anything at all and just kind of files you off for later?
I'm watching the agents in the audience to see how they respond.
I like this.
Yeah, where are...
So that is
We
something
love
so
you,
amazing.
Jen.
I have to
Thank
see
you
what you
for
got right now.
coming.
Applaud. For files it away for later, applaud. Agent files it away for later.
That's probably for the better, because we're
Probably.
nervous about sending something that's not finished yet.
I think he probably would have gotten no, you really don't. We'll send it to you later. Don't hate us.
So you don't hear anything back, which is fine. But with that response, are you now redoubling your efforts on your current work specifically to get it to this one agent? Is that your focus now?
The current thing that we're working on, not the current thing we're querying still.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we redoubling? We're definitely working on it. We're like trying to channel our anxiety into working on this instead.
Channeling real life early career Margaret, she's now convinced that there is a ticking clock, and
Oh, definitely.
that the agent is like, if I don't get this to them in
A polite amount of
time, there's going to be like burning in effigy and shredding of email addresses and contacts.
Because
and
the agent has nothing else to do.
Right.
The agent is literally crossing out X's on a calendar on the deadline.
We're just waiting
Right.
for us.
Well, this is a really irresponsible person who clearly never gets anything finished.
But we think that maybe they'll remember us better if we finish within like 6 to 9 months, as opposed to like a 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years, yeah.
Fair. I won't even put that in the audience. That is entirely fair. But are you still querying on your first book while you're working on finishing? Are you sending out new queries past that?
I think we've already established that we are multitaskers.
Okay.
Since we've been told we're good writers at least twice.
Well, this is good.
Bad writers, bad topic choosers. Okay.
So what do you think? Or do you think they get another agent response on the first book before they finish the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've shown the potential, so more people are gonna respond to their skill.
Okay, let's turn it up a notch. I'm dramaticizing a little bit. I'll acknowledge that up front. This is not an everyday thing.
It's time for an Act 2 escalation.
It's time for an Act 2 escalation. Well, we've got an audience here. We need to perform a little bit. So let's make it spicy. So you keep querying. Let's make it spicy. That's my new thing. I'm doing it to everybody.
I'm scared.
So you keep querying, you get some more positive responses, but people encourage you. You say, I like this, it's not my thing, but keep me in mind down the road. You finish the new one that you're working on, and you send it to the agent that was waiting for it because you still haven't got an agent.
Right.
Now, within a few weeks of each other, dun, you get a response on your original novel from
Awesome.
an agent, and you get a response from the agent you sent the second book to.
Okay.
And they both really like the books, and they both want to rep them.
Oh, they've already requested the fulls and everything. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
We're jumping ahead a little bit.
We got an hour
Okay,
long show.
no, that's
Yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah, and we got
there's
more
drinking.
here to do.
Okay.
We want to get some particulars of each agent, like qualities that they may possess in contrast. Or...
I think the first thing we do is we celebrate the milestone.
We have some Doritos.
Yeah.
Doritos and cocktails.
Okay, but also,
Sushi, beer, and ice cream, because it's scalable.
before we necessarily think of their qualities, which are very important, the one who offered us representation first, after that happened, wouldn't we have alerted the other agents who have our queries to let them know we've received an offer of representation?
Yes, because you're not monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not monsters
We are
like our
not.
agent says. So maybe that brought our response from the...
You know what? I think it did. I think it did bring your response because you acted professionally and responsibly.
Cool. So like we have to
So we
decide
have like
now.
a choice of agent.
Yeah.
You do.
All right, bring on the qualities.
Yeah.
What are some qualities?
One quality has been in the book business for about 25 years. They have many clients that you've heard of. One that you like, some that may or may not be your kind of thing, but
No robot fucking.
No robot
robot
fucking.
fucking.
No. But
No robots fucking anything, not just unicorns, anything.
yeah. So, but
I hear great about that.
you shouldn't. So yeah, that's the first one.
Okay.
Can I do my man?
Yeah, go for it.
So the second one, new to the game, but they're transitioning from having been an editor at a very big publisher.
Oh.
Yeah.
And have discovered at that publisher several titles have gone big. They've done TV shows, big properties.
So
They've
Young
only
and
got
Hungry.
a few clients, but they're with a larger agency.
Oh, we want that.
You'd be maybe their fourth or fifth client. They haven't actually sold anything yet.
That's cool. We trust them.
We want Young and Hungry.
Yeah,
You
we
want
do.
Young and Hungry.
Because we are young and hungry.
And they were an editor, so we
Uh-huh.
know that they have good networking skills and know a lot of people in the industry, and that's what matters. They're with an agency that is established and can mentor them well.
And their thoughts on our manuscript that we sent to them make sense to us.
We like their vision for our manuscript. We're just
Yeah.
making that a quality.
We're
No, they're very good
our
editing.
ideal
They
agent.
themselves.
Yeah.
So you got that on top of the agency, and you got a really experienced editor too.
Yeah.
So Young and Hungry, no debate.
Yeah.
Even over the established, has sold many things and been in the game a long time.
Maybe we also are factoring in a little bit of we might feel lost among some of these bigger clients. So we feel more like a partner with our young and hungry
Young and
agent.
Hungry.
We are keeping our frog and pond sizes kind of
I really
kind of
wish I'd
proportional.
known you guys in fictional ways about 7-8 years ago before I made some decisions in my life.
I love that you think we knew this 7 to 8 years ago.
This was a legitimate one of the things that I was looking for was an agent who was at the beginning to middle of their career, who was with an established agency, whom I could feel like a partner with. Sorry, I was smart.
No, that was.
Ben.
I mean, I'll say it's slightly different, but
Yeah.
when I was in film school on that side of thing, everyone was like, you don't want the partner at the agency to be your first agent because they are busy with their clients who are making multi-million-dollar deals and not your WGA scale deal that, they don't have time to do anything with. We want someone who has time to return our calls.
Yeah. It's a bit of imposter syndrome that factors into that too, but we're young in our careers, so we have some. We still have some later in our careers.
I was on a panel about that.
I just want to say for the benefit of my awesome agent in the audience that anytime I've said anything passive-aggressive about a past agent, if you guys have listened to the show, you know I've had more than one agent before Jen. So anything passive-aggressive I'm saying has nothing to do with her. I just want to clear that up.
Jennifer Udden, good agent.
Because you've said that a lot over a lot of episodes.
The record shall so reflect.
No, not really.
Said what a lot. Never mind, let's go on.
Okay.
I'll yell at you afterwards.
So Young and Hungry, that's the agency you're going
right.
with. We're gonna call it the Young and Hungry agency, just because I find that amusing.
Like it.
In fact, I think that should be a thing that exists. This is what I'll do after I fail as an author. I'll start my own agency. I'll call it Young and Hungry. I'm getting all kinds of good ideas up
You
here.
are. Somebody better be making notes.
So you go with Young and Hungry.
Relocated in Dubuque.
It's in New York.
But before Young and Hungry takes this book of yours out, they have many thoughts on it themselves. They have their own editorial process they want to put it through. Are you open to that?
Yeah, we want it to be the best book we can be. And they're smart. They were editors.
That's
They chose
Only
you.
one editor.
They chose us. They must be brilliant.
So you're all about taking their notes and making it the best you can possibly do.
Yes,
Which
we
is-
signed agreeing to that, basically.
We did our research. We knew what the author-agent relationship
Yeah.
looked like.
And we had a call, and they were like, these are our thoughts. And we were like, cool, we agree.
Because they aren't a monster. They also told us before we signed
yes.
that they would want us to be making changes before they went out on submission.
So that is very, very important, very good note right there. Cool. So you edit the book with the agent. You do the agent edit. All of you agree this is ready to go out. Your agent has a,
High five.
High five.
your agent has a plan. They have a list. They run down the editors. They want to send it to you. They tell you the reasons for these choices. You talk about that.
Yeah.
They send it out there. What kind of weight can they expect?
It's been 87 years.
We're still waiting.
The meme.
Give me a range of waiting to hear back from the publishers.
Me? Oh, God.
When did you submit it to?
let's say-
Throw the fact of that in. Like, did you submit it right
Oh,
for the
that's
holidays?
right. Yeah, what time of year did you submit it? Or did the agent submit it?
We get to pick. At
the good time.
A good time of year. Maybe like late winter, early spring. When no one's on vacation yet, but they're all back from winter holidays.
I'm going to trust you because I know the TV cycles, but I don't know the bad times in publishing.
That's when I went on submission.
And that's a good place to go. Okay, so based on that, give me a good range and a shitty range.
Okay, let's go for 3 weeks and 7 months.
So for 3 weeks, round of applause. For 7 months, round of applause. It might want to say this mostly for our listeners. It might seem sadistic to some. These are people who are preparing themselves for the journey. Right? Yeah. And that's good, and I commend you all on that. You need to steel yourself for the long winter to come, because that happens.
Right.
And we have not quit our day jobs.
I wasn't even going to put that to the audience. Okay, so 7 months pass. Margaret, your temp job one day, you get a text from your agent. They've gotten their first offer on
We have
the
chills,
book.
and it's not even real right now. Wow.
Now,
The
that
Google
offer,
sheet is exploding.
there are going to be so many
You
cool
worked
trees.
so hard for the past 30 minutes on this. It's paying off.
Now, that offer needs to have a number attached to it. So before we put numbers out there, I want to kind of recap where we are right now.
Right.
All right? You're new authors. This is your first book. You have, however, taken the time to build up a notable presence online. You've got people following your journey as authors. You've got a built-in audience. You're positioned well. Industry people follow the blog or the social media, whatever you do, because they find you inspiring. So you haven't blown up to stratospheric millions of followers on YouTube level, but you've gotten better than average positioning in the industry, despite this being your first novel going out.
Cool.
This is what we got to work with.
We have friends.
So what do we think for
They write weird
what do we think
fanfic
for
about
ranges
us.
for the advance? This is the question.
I'm thinking the ranges are 10,000 to 50,000.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
We'll take 50.
Yeah.
it's not up to you. So
Was that a trick question?
if the first offer's for 50, applaud.
Yeah.
If the first offers for 10, applaud.
I mean, that's more than we've ever made on fiction before.
I have to
As
say,
newbies.
it's true. Actually, in a way, the 50,000 offer may have been more dangerous
Fair.
to us as new authors because this corporate job that you're in is such a grind.
Yeah.
And
No temptation to quit.
no temptation. If we're splitting $10,000.
Yeah, we're splitting this. Can we at least have 20?
Well, you wouldn't be splitting 10, first of all.
Fine. Oh, that's right. We're splitting about 5,000.
So there's about what? Okay. So that is totally valid, and you need to take into account that is one-time money that will not be there next year.
Yep.
And that's something, I know, that makes it basic to some of you, but you'd be surprised how many people don't get that. They think, I've got this huge check, life will obviously always be like this from now on. That is one-time income. The rest is based on if this book sells, and the book may not be coming out for a couple of years, at least.
Right.
So, you got 10 on the table. Your agent says, it's not bad for a first book. Let's wait and see what the others say.
Ooh, okay.
You get another offer in.
Yeah.
Give me a range for the second offer.
I don't know. Let's see. 15 to. Wait, you want a range?
Yeah, give me two numbers. So
Two numbers.
Sorry, that's not a range.
13 and a half and 27.
Okay, so 13 and a half o'clock.
Yeah.
For 27, and whatever the hell that
Oh. I mean, we'll take 27. Oh.
Some robot fans in the
Yeah.
audience.
I see you.
was. She said, so Mercer, we have 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I want to take this a little further, but I think we obviously need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I had more. But
Yeah.
it's just it passes too quickly, which is
Also-
not a thing that happens in the publishing industry, by the way.
Also, it takes a long time to do this process in reality. So
Yeah.
this is all metaphorical.
So 27. What was
27.
27,000.
27 even. We'll call it even. It already got reduced. That can happen in publishing. So you got 27 on the table. Publishers are comparable size. Editors are in comparable positions. Rights, they're asking for the same rights. No one's asking, the 27 is asking for world, where the shorter one's asking for just North American. They're both asking for the same rights, which your agent says is acceptable to you. They just want North American rights. Would you go though?
You're saying they're exactly the same, and one's offering 10 and one's offering 27.
I mean that specifically because we're trying to wrap up the show. I'm trying to make it easy.
Yeah, they're exactly the same, and they're twins.
We like $27,000.
So you like $27,000? You accept that offer for your first novel, which will be published in a couple of years later.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess we got to have you back on next year to find out how the novel does.
Cool. Makes sense.
And that is Choose Your Own Publishing.
We've got like 3 minutes. Does anybody have questions for either Matt and I as ditch diggers or our illustrious guests?
Anybody?
Question.
All right, okay. You're in the blue shirt.
When you were talking about not being monsters and letting the other agents know, can you speak briefly on what you mean exactly by that?
Do you want to answer that, Jen?
Should I?
Come have a microphone.
Yes.
Come have a mic. We have
Sorry.
my and
Right.
Kellan's agent.
Quick, we have 3 minutes.
So the reason it's good to let other agents know that you have an offer is because you want as much choice as you can get. So if you accept the first offer you receive without letting the other people know, you might just be cutting off opportunities. That other agent may have been like in the process of reading your book and was really enjoying it, and then they emailed you to say like, oh, I'd like to talk to you, and you're like, oh, I've already got an agent. They're like, motherfucker. What? You should have told me.
I could have stopped reading.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because
I work in Hollywood.
So yeah, it's just a courtesy, and it gives you more opportunity to like possibly have a choice of agents rather than just one.
Excellent.
All right.
Do we have time for more questions? I don't know if we do.
Oh, yeah, actually, I thought the sign was 10. The sign. We have 5 more minutes.
Okay, cool. Well, we can take more questions.
Kathy?
Can you speak to other potential problems with taking a larger advance?
Other potential problems? What?
The question is can we speak to more problems that might come from taking a larger advance?
Beyond the temptation to quit the day job too early.
I think most of the answer to that is like what they're offering for the advance. So like if we had been offered $27,000 but they wanted to rights grab a lot of things, or we didn't like the editor's vision as much, or we didn't gel with them as much, we might decide to take the lower offer because we want to build a relationship with an editor that we like and want to work with again, and maybe our $10,000 book does really well and they offer us $50,000 next time.
Whereas if they offered us $50,000 the first time and the book does well but not quite that well, then you don't want to be in a position where you haven't met the expectations.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
And your second advance may be much lower if you don't burn out the first one. I think we have time for one more.
May I take just 30 seconds to share a personal experience in this regard?
Okay.
My first big advance was $25,000. I was newly married. My wife had a decrepit old minivan that was falling apart. We put the $25,000 into a new minivan for her. 10 years later, fast forward, that van was falling apart. Muriel said, I need another new minivan. I said, I don't have the money. She said, just write another book.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Why does the challenge point not have a picture of Morgan Freeman?
We've moved away from Morgan.
We're done with Morgan Freeman.
In light of recent events.
Why is that a picture of Jeff Goldblum is the real question?
Why doesn't it have...
in between unofficial mascots for the show,
I think make the challenge coins.
and we chose the oars. And you know what? We're sticking by the oars. I don't care what any of you say. How about that?
They're
Challenge
cute.
coins will be up for sale on the website, but I like you guys and you stay for the whole thing, unlike some people. So if you want a challenge coin, I'm giving them out.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve. So thank you guys for coming to Live Digital.
Our career is so good.
Yay! And thank you.
You can support us at patreon.com/mightymur.
Ditch Diggers!
Theme song by Devo Spice, devospice.com.